as more and more we see as technology gets involved in the game, some challenges sometimes with the bracelets. They didn't have those when you were playing, did they?
They definitely did not. Technology was not there when I was playing. We had the hand signals and all the $1 million signals that went up and down the whole body.
As we'll start here with Ponick against Falvey, and strike one, a start time of 6:08. Starting center fielder coming off a couple of walks over at JU yesterday. First time against North Florida, had 2 runs scored with a walk. Last couple of weekends, challenges against Texas and Texas A&M. For a 2-2 pitch, this one will go again for the orange and blue. Gators here in this complex are 3-0 all time. And on the road this season, a 7-1 record. For 2 balls and 2 strikes, Ponick the pitcher. 22 innings this year. Over to the left side of the infield, and that one thrown high, but I think Falvey was going to be safe in any case. Kelsey Vogel to start.
A chance to get it out unless she cuts that off.
To the infield single. And the Gators, of course, get on base right away. And you've got to watch out for Kendra Falvey. 29 of 30 on stolen bases this year. Here's the freshman right fielder. Ainsley talked about her in the open. Just a fantastic player is number 21. Already, of course, getting national recognition. First game against the Ospreys had a homer. Has a 2-0 start, now 3-0 for Shoemaker. Homers and hitting .412.
And you'll see the level of calmness that these Gators have in the box. They do a lot of hand-eye coordination, training those eyes.
And Falvey was ready to get her 3rd stolen base, and it won't matter there after a walk to Shoemaker. And here comes the left fielder in Otis. Yesterday against the Dolphins, 1 for 3 with the walk. Against the Ospreys, she had a home run and a walk. And you mentioned walks. You can't forget about last season for her. Led the nation on walks. That's wild.
Yeah,
Erickson is on deck.
You think about that, too. The number of pitches that she's seeing, she's fouling off 3-2 counts and still earning a way to get on base.
So Gators with 2 on, no outs on the board. Otis with the .341 batting average. Will show bunt, and it's going to be a double steal there for the Gators. And just like that, they're in scoring position. Gators this year, 5-0 record against Atlantic Sun teams. Otis. RBI opportunity. Pitch from Ponick. First 2 batters getting in on. Falvey with the single. The infield hit. Shoemaker with the walk. Two-one pitch for Otis. Now 3-1. Now exact same count we saw for the previous batter, Meg.
Yeah, and you see Ponick, she's really working her spin. It's just the ball's not really elevating through all of the strike zone. She's missing just by a little bit. Everything's falling off. So she's just got to try and find an adjustment here.
Misses there. She's walked the last 2 batters. So Otis gets on here as a senior, her 31st walk of the season. That's a team high. And we'll see pitching coach Amber Pfizer come on out to talk to the Ospreys pitcher and the infield as well. And the Gators will huddle up too, as you've got another dangerous bat. One of, if not the best catcher, I think, in the nation, in Erickson, batting cleanup against the Ospreys in Gainesville to open up the season. Had a pair of walks and also plated a run. Huge opportunity here for Jocelyn Erickson. As this lineup, we talked about it in the open, everybody can hit for power. As right now she's sitting at 9 home runs. What do you tell Ponick at this point in time, loading the bases, still trying to get the first out?
I think just really working to hit the corners. It looks like she's trying to locate the ball a little too much because, like I said, everything's kind of falling off the zone or it's just too far out. But trying to just work to hit the corners and stay low in the zone because we know that these hitters can hit anything that's elevated. They're going to take it. So trying to work down in the zone and staying consistent on the corners.
Now Erickson takes a strike, hitting .352 this season, 35 runs batted in. As she is only second to Shoemaker's 49. Erickson will fall behind 0-2, so I'd say the conversation worked so far.
And sometimes as a pitcher, you just need that mental reset, so taking that visit seems to be working out very well right now for Ponick.
Erickson stays off, very patient. We thought maybe today with the lefty bats and some of that wind, it could push farther into right field for them.
Yeah, and you think on a lefty, too, their ball naturally tails when they hit, so that wind pushing it even more.
And it's a 2-2 count here for Erickson with the bases loaded, a single by Falby, and back-to-back walks, Shoemaker and Otis. Erickson fighting here, another 3-2 pitch. Erickson, this one will be smacked over to left field for Grayshaw Rocky. They'll get it back into the infield, but with that fly ball, the Gators strike first. 1-0 as Falby comes in to score. As Brock gets out immediately on that first pitch, and we move to Allison Benning here. Amazing. Very rarely do you see somebody in their conference also leading with ERA, strikeouts. She's hitting .402.
Yeah, I think back, I was thinking about it earlier, like the batting lineup, that change that they made moving Benning to the two-batter after a little bit of a struggle. She was seeing the ball well, just wasn't in the right spot in the lineup, and Coach Conrad made some changes, and it's been working for them.
Yeah, as they talked about it, and they wanted to get her out of that leadoff spot. It worked for a little bit, but moved her back down to 2 behind Brock. As Oxley fell behind, it's now 3-1 against Benning. I don't think we'll see pitch tonight. Most likely we'll see her pitch game 1 on Saturday. Against Oxley. This one behind the plate. Erickson sees it go into the bleachers back there. She's still kind of waiting on it, too.
Yeah, we don't have that above netting. Like, our netting goes all the way up in front of the fans, but there's not a cross netting that goes overhead, and most complexes have one, so the ball will roll back down.
4 wins, 2.20 ERA, and a strikeout there for the freshman. Excellent job, Oxley. Retires Benning, and she'll be the toughest bat that she'll see here tonight. As Vogel, the starting shortstop, now batting, and we've got Ainsley has more about this Ospreys offense. Ainsley.
The Ospreys are coming off a weekend sweep to start off conference play, but they'll have another big test against a top 5 opponent, Florida. UNF swept Stetson in run rule fashion this weekend. North Florida's offense has been something head coach Jeff Conrad has always prided his team on. When we talked with Coach Conrad at the beginning of the season, he told us something he wants to see his team improve on is their defense, saying the games we've lost has been because we made so many errors. We can't give teams extra outs or rely on our offense to dig us out of holes. If they can combine their hot bats with strong defense and pitching, they're going to put themselves in the best position to win this game.
That one just missing there for another ball. 3-1 from Oxley. What have you seen from number 39 so far for the orange and blue?
She's doing a great job of working that knee-high strike zone and just moving the ball. You saw the Benning strikeout, that ball just moving off the outside part of the plate.
It started with the shortstop. It'll end with Holtorf right there. 1-2-3 frame for Oxley and the Gators. A strikeout number 1 already for her hit streak. And typically if she's playing, she's getting on base. This one over at first, and a nice ground ball as Brock over at first base. Typically you see her at second. as Logan Turner gets a start for the Ospreys at second base. Now we go down the order. Here's batter number 7 with the second baseman and Mia
Second baseman,
Williams.
number 11, Mia Williams.
Most recently a home run over at JU. Behind the plate for the Ospreys is Mackenzie Woods. Some fast at-bats here as our leadoff batters swinging early, Meg.
Yeah, we've had both leadoff batters swinging at the first pitch. We had the line drive from Brock, first pitch swinging, and then the ground ball here from Cahalan. So aggressive bats tonight, just looking to find some holes, trying to work it out for your offense here and try and make something happen.
Having a really good month of March is Mia Williams. 10 home runs, 5 have come since March 1st. Last year, I feel like really jumped on the scene when she made the SEC All-Tournament team. Another pitch, this one popped up, and it's going to be unplayable. First meeting against North Florida, 0 for 1, but did score a run. Just on that first inning for the Gators, if you're just now joining us, 1 run scored with 1 hit. Falby got the infield single. Williams, good plate presence, another 3-2 count.
That one looked really good, not missing by much. And again, when you're watching at home, you're like, oh, that looks so good. It looks like a strike, but it's missing just by a half an inch to an inch. It's very, very small misses.
As this one over to third and just past the arm, bounced over Reichert for a hard hit single. And Ava Brown, a sophomore, first time against North Florida, went 0 for 2 with a walk, but yesterday a home run. Begins with a strike. Last year we saw here in Jacksonville, she was their main pitcher. Hitting .297 this season. Williams at first base with 1 out. So we did have to tarp the field. I don't think it ever rained here, but there was some threat. We had a cell kind of move very close to us.
Yeah, there was a band that it said it was like a 40% chance of coming down, but I think it just kind of split up once it got to the river. But definitely looks like it was coming down.
As this one gets popped up. Shaw Rocky in that vicinity, and the Ospreys able to record the out right there with Vogel in a tough spot. And the Ospreys able to get the second out. So we move on down. Here's batter number 9
Riley Holtorf.
for the shortstop, Riley Holtorf. Williams still over at first base. I feel like ever since we saw the mound or the visit to the circle, that really Cameron Ponick has settled down and looked much better.
Yeah, and even when her pitches are missing out of the zone, she's coming right back. And, you know, Florida's going to hit the ball hard. They're a top-ranked team. They know what they're doing. They're composed in the box. So knowing that those hard hits are going to come, Ponick's really still going right at these hitters and coming right back into the zone.
A third pitch here, Holtorf, and this one will go to the left field again. Another base knock as a pair of singles here for the Gators in this second inning.
So much white.
Back to the top here for the Gators with Falby. So Williams at second, Holtorf over at first base. Falby, very dangerous, leads the team with 49 hits. As this one will be back to the circle, Ponick, and able to get that third out right there, an essential one here in the second. A pair of hits for the Gators, Williams and Holtorf with singles, but nothing comes across. We move to the home half of the second for North Florida, as it'll be Culp, Shaw, Rocky, and Reichert. For Oxley, Meg, it was a very quick first inning, a 1-2-3, a strikeout, and she only needed 12 pitches. That's not very tough net right now. I'd say if you're hitting something in the infield, it's going to be tough if you're looking over at first base. Walsh, Williams, Holtorf, and Cahalan, your infield for the Gators. Culp just got a little piece of it. She's batting cleanup for this one. Congrats to her as she got her 100th career hit as an Osprey just this past Saturday. For Culp. Stays off of it for a 2-2 count. For Culp seeing the ball well, 3 for 4 during Saturday's game. As that'll be foul.
That is the hardest hit foul ball right now in the game.
Oh, for sure. That went over to the pickleball courts.
Yeah.
19 runs batted in, along with 3 home runs. And we've seen now, Culp is the second Osprey to see a full count.
Yeah, I'm just noticing Caitlin Oxley again. She is a freshman, but that stamina that she carries, you know, you wouldn't think that. Just she's going right back at these hitters. She's not afraid to fall behind an account, but she's done a really good job of hitting her spots so far. I mean, she's only seen 3 batters, so she's doing something very well.
I keep up with a lot of Central Florida softball. And I remember hearing her name. There's her second strikeout right there. Culp just got some of it, but she already struck out Benning. And here's another look.
The left fielder,
See that pitch
number
just
22.
painting that corner. It's curving and coming back on, but just a great pitch. And again, she's doing a little bit better job against Ponick right now with working those outer corners and not leaving it so much over the heart of the plate. Some of those harder hits we've seen that have been given up are just the ball's a little bit too much on the wide of the plate.
Talking to Coach Mario earlier today, I said, "Are you surprised by this young lady right here?" I said, "Not really. You know, we saw it during the summer with Grace Shaw Rocky, and she has really proven herself over the last couple of weeks. I mean, rarely do you see any program get a freshman of the week for the or player of the week for the conference." With a count of 2-1, a couple of really good first-year players right here. Shaw Rocky. This one gets popped up. Calling for it, and the shortstop Holtorf will take it, very similar to that previous pop-up we saw from Ava Brown. So Oxley working very
number
well
33,
here.
Hadley
And you bring
Reichert.
up Hadley Reichert, who along with Shaw Rocky hitting well down at Stetson this past weekend. That last game against Stetson, Reichert a walk, a run, and got herself a double. Behind quickly here, 0-2. I thought that young girl was going to get that ball. She was determined.
Yeah, I saw 2 or 3 gloves go flying up, and one girl was running with her glove. So, got some action in the stands.
This one will be over in the right field, and just down that line there is Shoemaker. And a second 1-2-3 inning here for Oxley and the Gators. We'll take a break here at the UNF softball for the Gators. Shoemaker a walk. Had a 3-1 count in that first inning. Stole a base. And was pretty close to scoring that second run for the Gators. A whopping 49 runs batted in. Fouls that pitch off, 1-2.
And I get to be a little mini fan of Ashley Connor. Again, you mentioned she's a local, but I actually got to coach her when she was in 14U, so I've seen her when she was a youngster. Now that kind of just aged me a little bit, but it's exciting to see her, you know, back at a place where I got to play. And she's a great kid. I'm hoping that she does well once she's done with school. But just a really cool stage to see.
Oh, for sure. As we got to fix a strap, it looks like, here for the catcher, Mackenzie Woods. And
I think it broke.
it snap off completely. And how about Taylor Shoemaker? Had an RBI over at JU. She's got 49 on the year. And right now it's the 5th most runs batted in by a Florida Gator freshman in school history. And currently, there's still a lot of softball left in the season. She's top 10 in runs scored by a freshman at 44. So she just keeps climbing the list.
It's crazy, though, the level of athleticism you see with these freshmen coming in, these youngsters, and the things that they're able to do. And, you know, that just speaks to recruitment as well. Like, seeing these kids on a big stage and really understanding that they know the game well enough coming in and being able to do some of these big things so early in their career.
Yeah, very impressive. So it looks like new equipment here for the catcher, Woods. As those catchers take a beating, I tell you what, we saw one over the weekend when North Florida Baseball hosted JU, and man, the work that they have to do is incredible.
Yeah, and I forget which game it was, but Woods, even just her blocking mechanics, there was some she would take off the shoulder, and I've seen Caravaca do the same thing, and they're not even wearing it off the gear. It's just coming off their body.
Shoemaker fouls that one off, but you can see even just on foul balls, the power that she has. Still hitting .412. That sun, especially for the lefty batters, has to be in their eyes just a little bit. Pitch by Connor. This one past her glove. Second baseman Turner as this one takes a hop and it goes off of Brock. Woods is going to get down to it, and it will indeed. Here's Otis. Still just amazed by all those walks she had last season. That was probably one of the cooler numbers I saw preparing for the Gators throughout this week. 1-0 pitch from Connor. Well, that's going back to when we talked to Coach Conrad early this season that, you know, if you have errors like this, especially in a conference game, they're going to crush you. It could be 2-1, and that could be a deciding run on base.
Yeah, and you know, going back to what Ainsley said earlier as well, defense is what wins ball games if you think about it. You can score runs, but if you're not keeping your opponents at bay and really winning every inning, you're not going to come away with those big wins.
Otis hitting .341. This one over to second base. Backing up Turner. Makes a throw there. And Shoemaker now at second. And here comes Erickson. The first inning, she knocked in the run with the sac fly. Had a really long at bat.
Jocelyn
And it
Erickson.
was a strong one against the Ospreys starter and Cameron Ponick. Fell behind early 0-2. Worked it to a 3-2 count. And notched another RBI. .36 now on the year. Pitch there, gets some of the strike zone, 1-1.
And you see Woods really sticking those pitches at the top of the zone. The college strike zone is the top of the softball to the bottom of the sternum, so a little bit lower than the letters on the jersey.
There's another one. Is Connor getting in a groove here against a cleanup batter for the Gators? With a teammate in scoring position as Shoemaker. Erickson, this one just passed Connor's glove into center field, and Shoemaker with that speed slides in, and she'll beat the throw, and a little 2 runs brought in, and Walsh is getting ready to swing here, and she's got a teammate in scoring position. So the catcher, Jocelyn Erickson, a really strong start. With Reagan Walsh all set to go. Well, you did mention, I think it was the last inning, of how the Ospreys shortstop Kelsey Vogel had been more switched over for something up the middle.
Yeah, I think she was slightly shifted again with Ponick's change in velocity and her trying to locate outside. The ball would typically go more up the middle, but when you're leaving some of those locations more over the plate, they're getting more of an opportunity to pull to that left side.
And we've seen of the base hits, they've been going to the left side. 3 of the 4 have been either going near third base or the shortstop. This one sliced, it'll stay in the infield. And underneath it is Logan Turner. So good recovery there by Ashley Connor.
Third baseman, Henley.
'Cause that was almost
Cahill.
a pop-up that we've seen Oxley, who's been really forcing those against North Florida.
Yeah, and I was afraid that wind was going to brush it back a little bit. Not too much wind right now, but when that ball goes up, the wind can certainly take over at any time.
Yeah, it's a little stronger than when we first got going. Cahalan here, the third baseman, for a 1-1 count. Having a nice season, 366 batting average, 7 homers. Had a hard hit ground ball to lead off the second. That was over at first base for Lauren Brock. Erickson at second base. This one again over to the second baseman. And the Ospreys, another ground ball. There's Kaylin. Gets thrown out by Logan Turner. Gators score another run. Shoemaker comes in as she got on base with
Headquarters
the
right
leadoff
here.
error. 2-0 Gators. We move to the bottom of the third. First time against the Gators this season. Took place down in Gainesville. She went 1 for 2 with the strikeout. And she may have the largest crowd of UNF fans for a single player here today. When they introduced her, I mean, there must have been 12 or 15 of them, or it sounded like it.
Yeah, and I could imagine, I know she does some catching lessons when she's in off season, so I'm sure there's some local kids here that really know who she is, and she does coach travel ball over summer. I've seen her when I've been umpiring, so it's pretty cool to see her giving back.
And that would make a lot of sense here. 1-2 count. Woods with 12 runs batted in on the year. Pair of home runs.
And just thinking about it while Woods is in the box, I would say an adjustment here is working on that top half of the ball, not trying to lift anything. Again, she's working down in the zone. So UNF really making an adjustment on just finding that top half of the ball would be probably beneficial with just working at quality at bats.
Yeah, the Ospreys have not seen a ground ball out. It's been 3 of the 6 have just been popped up just a little bit.
Yeah, she's down in the zone and they're getting under it.
Full count after that pitch. Third time the Ospreys have seen a 3-2 count. And she's going to walk there, and the Ospreys will get their first base runner with Mackenzie Woods. They bring up Logan Turner. That last frame, the second baseman seeing a lot of action
Second baseman
in the infield.
Number 13, Logan
As
Turner.
Kirsten Caravaca will get a day of rest today. She's typically the everyday first baseman. A redshirt sophomore here for Turner. 4 runs batted in on the year. And Erickson will come out to talk to her starting pitcher and Caitlin Oxley. Any guess as to what this chat would be about?
I would say probably just a reset. I mean, she just threw her 5th ball in a row, so probably her catcher just taking charge and saying, hey, just, time to reset. Probably just get her back refocused. Because there's really no pressure right here. I mean, you got 1 runner on, but again, you've got 2 runs at cushion right now, so until UNF really gives you some pressure, it's really just staying in your groove.
And another ball here for Turner. Yeah, you see the great teams, they just have a cornerstone at the catching position. 2-0 pitch and back into the zone. We saw it with Florida State when they were here a couple weeks ago. A great catcher also. As this one over to right field, a nice base knock there for Turner. And the Ospreys will have runners first and second. As Logan Turner, that'll be her 5th hit this year.
Packed.
Worked right there. His infield moved in some here for McCarthy. Probably one of the quicker players on the team. Corners are moved in quite a bit as Kaylin pretty close over at third base. McCarthy will back up. The Ospreys, their first real chance at trying to get some runs across here in this game. As bottom of the third, Oxley retired the first 6 batters she faced. But even you just see the challenges of trying to lay down something smooth on a bunt is very challenging.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this a few games ago. I don't know how the sack situation was with the Stetson series, but that's been something that's come up for UNF, is being able to execute on a sacrifice situation.
On a close call, that goes for a ball. The Ospreys this year 8-4 at home. Turner's over at first. And McCarthy will keep going.
And McCarthy in this situation, yes, you want to stay in the at-bat, but you also want to try to be situational. You didn't get your bunt down, but now you've got to move your runners. So looking to hit the ball hard and down or something through a gap.
As this one, what a scoop there at short. And what a great play by this infield as Holtorf. I mean, that was magical right there on the short hop, too.
Yeah, McCarthy, again, hits that ball pretty hard. It gets picked really well.
First baseman,
Now
number
you've
7,
got runners on first
Lauren
and third
Brock.
here.
And we'll go back to the top for North Florida. Second time around, this will be Brock. Has hit safely in her last 4 games. Taking off, diving in, trying to get the distraction, but Woods will be thrown out at home. And an excellent read here defensively. Gators well aware. And so McCarthy gets the stolen base. Good communication too. Gators will not caught off guard by that. Brock, definitely already a much longer at bat than the first go around. The 1-2 pitch. Just had a few of those coming in that have been very close and tough not to really take a hack at.
Yeah, she's done a really good job with that screwball on that outer half of the plate against these lefties.
Popped up, and the shortstop is there for Holtorf with a great play off the ground ball, and Oxley gets out of the inning. Some good defense by the Gators after they allow a couple of base runners. 2-0, we
After
head to
3
the
innings,
fourth
the score is
here in
Florida.
Jacksonville. Here at the UNF softball complex, we begin this 4th inning as Ashley Connor inside the circle facing Mia Williams, Gators second baseman, her first time up. Meg, we remember with 1 out on the board, had that hard hit single just past the third baseman's arm. Williams here at 2-0 count. Cameron Ponick started the game for the Ospreys, the first 2 innings of work. Gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, and 1 earned run. Just some of the inside of the plate there for Williams. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now hitting .400. As the Gators have been able to put either the first or second batter on, or sometimes both, of the first 3 innings. Two and 2 after the foul ball. From Connor. Williams. This one struck hard. It is back, and see you later. Home run number 11 for Mia Williams. Another home run. Well, we mentioned in the second inning, the month of March has been long ball season for her, and she makes it 3-0. There, just did not read it perfectly. That one she did. There's Ava Brown. Hopped up in foul territory the first time. Six home runs this month now for Williams. And this one made good contact. This will be back and see you later into the bleachers as Ava Brown goes yard, and that's her third home run of the year as the Gators go back to back. Williams started the part. There's Riley Holtorf. That last frame had some wonderful plays at the shortstop position. Her second inning at bat was a single. Holtorf this year hitting .317, 16 runs batted in. Gators have gone back-to-back home runs. Lays down the bunt, taken by the third baseman and safe. And a good read. I think that bunt play surprised everybody. I was not ready for that.
Yeah, I think the corners are creeping anyways, but that's one of the things that you see from Florida on a consistent basis.
And how about that for the bottom of the order? You go 7 through 9 right now for the Gators. They've combined for 5 of the team's 7 hits. As a coach, you gotta love that when you see the production from the lower part of the lineup. We're back to the top here. It's Kendra Falby. Falby 1 stolen base in this game, 1 hit, 1 run. She was the last batter to face the Ospreys starter Cameron Ponick. Well, Florida just trying to get that first out, pops out of Woods' hand. And a stolen base there for Holt.
Got to jump right on time.
Laid down, Hadley Reichert, and she'll get Falby, who advances her teammate over to third base.
Right fielder, Taylor Shoemaker.
Here's Taylor Shoemaker. They talk home runs, and she almost has to be included. And I think we'll see a change here in the circle as Coach Conrad comes on over. And we'll see a new pitcher coming in for the Ospreys. It'll be Taylor Cook, number 24, coming in for the Ospreys. We'll take a break here. Gators lead 4-0. Still here in the 4th inning. As we're back here, pitching change again, and once again it comes with Shoemaker. He takes a pitch for strike 1, hitting .408. Teammate over at third base here. 2 times up, she's been on base for both. Last time reached on the air to begin the 3rd inning. 2 runs is framed for the orange and blue, 7 hits for the game. 1 run scored also coming in the 1st and 3rd innings. To pitch. Taylor Cook, we've seen her before quite a bit, as she was the first pitcher of the year for the Ospreys. Pitched that first game down in Gainesville, an inning and 2/3. Faced 13 batters, but did give up 2 hits and 5 runs. This one over to left field, diving out. It'll go off the glove of Shaw Rocky. And a close play there, and the Gators will bring in run number 5. You're not going to keep Shoemaker off the base pass. You see her there at second base.
Corby Otis.
And tough, too. I mean, we've seen, trying to figure out for the Ospreys who that starting second pitcher is going to be. As here's Otis. First time we saw her in the first inning, was able to walk. Shoemaker with the RBI double. And the extra base hits continue. We've seen 3 of them by the Gators in this inning. have themselves a 3 spot to open this 4th. It's tough to contain the Gators for more than a 2-inning stretch or so. Otis, a home run the first time against North Florida in that season opener. 2-2 pitch. And has herself a full count. Four-hit inning for Florida. 3-2 pitch from Cook. This one will go to the shortstop for Vogel. A nice throw there, and they also keep the runner held up at second base and Shoemaker. Erickson. I feel like she was really the player to get things going. We talked about her 2 plate appearances, got an RBI in both of those.
Yeah, and I remember in her second at bat, again, that RBI, she just takes
This
it right
one
back up the middle.
Off of Cook. Nobody's going to be over there to cover. And they'll come out to check on number 24 as she shakes that left foot ankle. I did not see initial contact of where it got her on that cleat.
She just pointed to her shin, but it's kind of like getting dead-legged. You don't have any protection there.
Looks like she gave the initial nod of approval, but she'll throw some warm-up pitches here. But Erickson on base again. Her second hit. Already 2 runs batted in. She had the sac fly back in the first inning. And how'd she look? Did you notice anything?
She was laughing and then threw that pitch and said she was good to go. So I'm sure it hurts for a minute, but, you know, you just throw some dirt on it.
First baseman, Reagan Walsh.
Here's Reagan Walsh. She is our player to watch and just taking off right there. Erickson is easily going to swipe second base. Walsh with 9 home runs. Over 220 starts in her career, over 200 hits in the orange and blue. Well, so far, Cook looks okay.
Yeah, and I mean, her velocity hasn't changed from when she came in to even after being, you know, popped on the leg, but she's really hitting that top of the strike zone.
This one will be over to short for Vogel. And able to get that third out. So for the Gators, they send up 8 batters. In their biggest inning thus far, they make it 5-0 as we move on down to the bottom of the 4th. Here in Ospreys here, Benning, Vogel, and Culp will be the 3 batters here. Ospreys been held to 1 hit, and it's been a nice pitching performance from Oxley as really just that kind of blip in the 3rd inning, and that's been about it. Benning, the Ospreys' best batter. 398 batting average, 12 home runs, 31 runs brought in, and additionally 31 walks. This one will be over the head there. Dangerous play, just missing Oxley, and Benning gets off.
To hone in on is just really, really having that quality at bat, trying to make something happen.
As we'll see a pinch runner here for Benning. And the Ospreys will go with the freshman Jones, who will be over there. You see
Number 1,
Alyssa Jones.
Alyssa Jones.
Well, too, I worry about these pitchers. No wonder with the mask and everything, we've seen these pitchers in danger the last inning.
Yeah, and again, some of that just comes with pitch location, and I would say that that's the hardest hit we've had coming from other than the line drive. But just leaving that ball over the wide of the plate.
There's Kelsey Vogel, as both shortstops have been hard at work in the infield tonight. Vogel, 21 runs batted in, 351 batting average. And also keep an eye on Erickson, too, behind the plate. She had a really good play in the last game against Texas. And just love watching a lefty catcher, too. And one pitch, lays down the bunt, charging in as a third baseman. And a good play right there. Osprey's advancing the runner, but Cahalan is all on top of that. Here's Chloe Culp for the Ospreys.
Right fielder, number 3.
Been seeing the ball really well as of late. Had a challenging first at-bat against Oxley. Struck out on a 3-2 pitch. And this one sent up the middle for a base knock. It's going to be coming on in. It'll be close there. No, and the tag is made. Erickson getting Jones for the... We'll move on down for Shaw Rocky. The Gators keep another one off the board there. Ospreys, 2 of their 3 hits have been in this inning. And a quick 0-2 count here against Shaw Rocky. Who was one of those pop-out victims. He was a 5th straight Osprey batter retired by Oxley. That came in the 2nd. A-Sun Player of the Week right here. Just getting some of that. Chloe Culp is the Osprey at second base. As you see to the right of your screen with Reichert on deck. Shaw Rocky over to third. Once again, Cahalan. And Oxley will get out of the inning right there. Another one to throw out at home. Ospreys with a pair of hits, but still nothing scratches across. 5-0 Gators. We head to the 5th inning. Ground balls for her. Go to the right side of the infield. 6, 7, and 8 batters will be up for the Gators. As the Ospreys still have Taylor Cook out there in the circle. And I'm sure she's going to have a bruise, but the leg seems to be fine.
Yeah, she's quick 2 strikes in this at bat here, so doesn't seem to be phased very much. We've gotten some really great crowd shots tonight. This has probably been a fun spring break for all the youngsters. They had JU last night for Florida, and I'm sure half of them are over here now for tonight.
That's a good point. This one's going to drop for a base hit over in left field as Cahalan gets on. After falling behind in the count. So 2 games against the Ospreys and 2 hits for her this year. As Cahalan, looking at it, when she's a leadoff batter, she crushes it. She hits .556 when she's leading off.
Second baseman, Mia Williams.
And then Williams, who it seems like we just talked about her, a home run to lead off the 4th. The Gators a very strong 4th inning, 5 hits and 3 runs scored. Multi-hit game tonight for Williams. Chasing that one as it rose and got away from her.
See that big hack she takes. Probably remembering that home run swing, just not a pitch that's in the zone to make contact with.
Williams worked a very long at-bat. One of the better at-bats we saw, I thought, from the Gators in the first couple of innings. Was able to get a single. Batting average rising up to .407. Eleven home runs is the tally now. As Cook, good job getting away from it.
Dodges
As
that
Williams,
one a little bit.
That was nice.
That ball was down in the zone, but it definitely had some velocity on it.
For a 2-2 pitch. Incoming. And second time tonight that Williams has seen a full count. And she'll take the base there on the walk. Third time on base tonight for Mia Williams, the second baseman. And here comes number 00. It'll be Ava Brown. As she went back-to-back homers after Williams. They both went yard. For Brown, it was her third home run.
The designated player, number 0, Ava Brown.
Pitch from Cook. Finds his zone, 1-1. Brown back-to-back games with a homer. What should the mentality be here for Taylor Cook?
I'd say for Cook, I mean, she's hitting that inside corner well, just really going right at these hitters, trying to find a way to come back.
Count 3-1 here for Brown. With two teammates on. Pitch from Cook off the plate. And so it's back-to-back walks. The Gators load up the bases. And here comes Holtorf. And I think we'll see a pinch runner, it looks like. And that will be the case.
Pinch running for the Gators, number 2, Kylie Shaw.
As here's Shaw. So pinch run. What a big spot here for the shortstop. With the bases loaded. Her last time up, we saw it in the 4th inning, laid down that bunt. Really nice bunt single. One of the 5 hits for the Gators. And she's gone 2 for 2 today, a run and a stolen base. Holtorf actually probably one of the bats you want to see with the bases loaded, or at least with runners on base. But she's still hitting almost 290.
Yeah, and I mean, in this game alone, she's been very situational. You know, she had the hit out to left back in the 2nd inning, and then in the 4th inning comes up with the sacrifice bunt and ends up being a runner that comes in to score from that inning.
As this one gets sent up, it'll be over to right field for Chloe Culp, and it's going to be deep enough to where the Gators will bring in another run to make it 6-0. And the RBI there, and you move to Falby, who was really, I'd say, the most vocal player during that last huddle that we saw from the Gators. Really brought her team together.
Center fielder, Kendra Falby.
As you see, it's Halen coming in to score. And again, taken off, so you'll have Shaw now at second base. Second and third for the Gators. Williams is the closest, being over at third. 3 Gators with multi-hit games: Erickson, Williams, and Holtorf. Kendra Falby with the 2-0 count. Stay off for a strike. Third pitcher for the Ospreys tonight here with Cook. We saw Ponick go over the first couple of innings, and Ashley Connor an inning and a third after she gave up 4 hits and 3 earned runs. Falby, and it's going to be a walk right there. Runners first, second, now third. And it looks like with the pitching coach, Amber Pfizer, coming out, that'll do it for Cook after an inning of work. And We'll see a change here coming. 6-0 with the Gators in the lead all 3 times. Back in the first inning, walked off 5 pitches and was able to get a stolen base. His base is loaded here. It'll be a slow roller in his center field. And with that, it's going to bring in 2 runs by the Gators. Now an 8-0 lead as Williams and Shaw plate runs.
Cassidy McClellan.
A 2-run single right there. And here's McClellan now in the bat. Gators have gone 3 runs in the last 2 innings, 4th and 5th. The lead was 2-0 after 3. We like what we saw from Ponick in the first 2 innings of work. Is trying to find the zone. Woods is going to come out to talk to her. And a count 2-0 here for McClellan.
We talk about these games, you know, like for Florida, the things that they're looking to do when they play these, you know, out of conference games, and trying to see what some of these other players can do. They get pinch hitting opportunities, pinch running, and all those things come into play as conference games come together. And the same for UNF. It gives them, hey, what do we need to work on? Where can we get better? Finding those gaps for conference play.
This one gets popped up. It'll be like an infield fly rule right there. And so McClellan is retired. Did not play in the first game against North Florida. And we move on down. It'll be the cleanup batter with Erickson.
The catcher, Jocelyn Erickson.
Having a very solid game. 2 hits. Sack fly. Pair of RBIs. And she gets plunked. Not ideal right there, but nevertheless for the Gators, they put runners on every single bag here. And it looks like we'll see another pinch hitter.
Number 17, Layla Lamar.
As here comes Layla Lamar. This will be the 9th batter for the Gators here in the 5th. Facing Ponick. Back into the strike zone. Lamar this year for the freshman, 4 runs batted in. Hitting .286 for the North Carolina native. Some great spin there from Cameron Ponick. An 0-2 count. The Gators will be away from home for a good bit, with this being the 2nd game of a 7-game road swing. Last night they stayed here in Jacksonville after that game against the Dolphins. Lamar works it to 2-2. This one over to 3rd. And for the Ospreys, there's Hadley Reichert. Ospreys get out of the bases loaded jam, but as again, kind of like that Brock at bat, just super quick, and the fly out over into right field for Shoemaker.
The catcher.
Yeah, and even with those quick at bats, it's first pitch swinging, but I mean, it's solid contact. It's just they're hitting right into a defensive player.
There's Mackenzie Woods. Walked to lead off the 3rd inning. This one over to 3rd, and just like a vacuum right there is Cahalan. Makes it look so easy in the hot corner. And for the Ospreys, here
Second
we'll see
baseman,
Logan
number
Turner, the
13,
8th batter
Logan Turner.
for the redshirt sophomore. And the single into right field, back in the third. Another strike here, as it's been very enjoyable to see Oxley pitch tonight. And Turner, swing and a miss there. For 2 balls and 2 strikes. Notched her 5th hit of the season earlier. As that bat continues. Oxley has just allowed 3 hits tonight. And has gotten the run support from her orange and blue team. This one down the line. This one's going to be foul there. Shoemaker will chase that one down as it just started to curve away from that Under Armour side.